The next thing you need to do, you've got two options, right? On their mobile phone, they will have contacts. Now you can import all of those contacts in one go to communicate with Alexa, so you can talk to all of those people. Sometimes people have lots of contacts and they don't want all of those contacts to come into the Alexa app. What I would suggest you do is you just select a few people, and then if you think, oh, you want to add anybody else, then you can always do that later on. Yeah, so I'm going to show you both ways to do it. Hi there, how you doing? Hope you can hear me okay. I'll just bring up the mic a little bit. So thanks for coming on today. In the comments below, just say hi to me and where you're tuning in from. And if you've got any questions, feel free to add any questions in as we're going through this. Today's topic, as you probably gathered, we're talking about, we've got a question in from a lady called Ruth, and she wanted to know how to better communicate using the Alexa tool. I'm going to call it Alexa because I know a lot of people have it already installed in their homes and it'll probably just go off and listening. So I'm going to call it Alexa from now on, so it doesn't go off on everybody else's devices. I just want to let you know that on most of the devices now they've put a little mute sign on top of the device depending on which model you have, so when people do say it doesn't fire off the Alexa app. But for now I'm just going to say it anyway to help you out. So to get started, there is a few sort of things that you just have to do because you might not have the communication part enabled on the device, and that's something that you need to do, and I'll show you how to do all of that. And then just in case you don't know who I am, my name is Hitesh Daudia. I help home caregivers, family caregivers, and startup entrepreneurs create a more balanced lifestyle by achieving more in doing less. And so let's crack on and take from there. I will be sharing my screen. I suppose it's how it's the best way I probably can show you rather than telling you verbally, because if you want to re-watch this video and follow the steps through, you might be thinking, oh, I can't actually visualize what you're saying. So I thought it's best to share my screen. Hopefully technology won't fail me today and it'll be all good. Hi Chandrika, good to see you on here. Okay, so here's the message.
My name is Ruth, and my question is, I would like to know how to access the Alexa app, which I have downloaded after your last live that I watched, but I'm a bit confused as to how I access that to speak to my mother-in-law, who also has a mobile phone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully you should be able to see it in a second. Just give me a second. What's happened here is I'm just showing my screen with my Alexa device. It will probably keep on switching off because it's on a saving mode as well, and I'll have to keep on touching the button so it doesn't keep on going off. Okay, so the way to do it is you've got to enable the communication part on your mum and dad Alexa device. So the way to do it is they would have downloaded the Alexa app, yeah, on either a tablet or a mobile phone. So if you go to the bottom there and you tap on communicate, along the bottom you'll have a menu. You'll have once they've installed the app, yeah, you will have a menu there where it says home, communicate, play, devices. The first thing you got to do is click on devices, yeah, and where it says Echo and Alexa, tap on that. And then you need to choose your device, yeah, whichever one it is. I mean, I've got a few, so I've sort of segmented it, but they'll probably only have one device. You tap on that device. Yeah, it's just this little slider that you just need to slide across, and then it will tell you that it's enabled for drop-in, which is what I'm going to show you, a feature that will allow you to call your folks without them actually touching the device or saying anything to the device. I'll go into that a little bit later. But once you've switched on the communication part, you're good to go. Yeah. So we come back out of here. We can go back into home, and what we do now, I'm just going to look at some other bits here. The next thing you need to do, you've got two options, right? On their mobile phone, they will have contacts. Now you can import all of those contacts in one go to communicate with Alexa, so they can talk to all of those people. Sometimes people have lots of contacts and they don't want all of those contacts to come into the Alexa app. What I would suggest you do is you just select a few people, and then if you think, oh, you want to add everybody else in, then you can always do that later on. Yeah, so I'm going to show you both ways to do it, and then you can decide on which way works best for you. So again, if you go to the bottom here, you got communicate. You tick on communicate. You've got the symbol at the top here where it's got like those little people. If you tap on that, that will show you. If I scroll down all from A to Z, it'll have all my contacts in there that I've put in there, and what you need to do. And it'll have your devices as well underneath that. So you've got your favorites, and I'm going to show you how to make people favorite. You go to this little plus sign where it says add new, and then you've got two options here. You've got add contact or add group. A group basically is if you want to put people in there, like maybe just all your brothers or your sisters, and then you can talk to them in one go. That's a new feature they've just added in there. Before it was just contact there. So once you've tapped on add contact, what you need to do is you need to put in the first name, surname if you want. It's not compulsory, but I would encourage you to put in a nickname. So this is the name that your folks would probably call, their sons or daughters. They might shorten their name or something like that, because then what we're going to do is you can use that and say, Alexi, call, and then that person's name, and it might be, instead of Daniel, it might be shortened to Dan. Yeah, so that way she'll know that it's either Daniel or Dan, and Alexi will find the right person to call. Yeah, so, and then you got relationship. If you just tap on it, it will give you all of these options, to choose from. So I'm going to go back, and then you just enter that person's mobile number. Yeah, remember, we're doing this manually first. Yeah, if you've got it in your address book, it'll import everything in one go, and what happened, it'll update sporadically. So then you enter the mobile number, and up the top here you just got save, obviously, because I haven't put anything in there. It's not working. It'll show up in red, but for you, when you fill it in, that's all you have to do, and click save. I'm going to go back, and then it'll put a contact in here. So now I created one earlier called test. These are just random numbers. You got their name at the top where it says test, and then it'll say favorites here, and because I've already tapped it, yeah, it's added them to my favorites. Yeah, so that's what you need to do. Once you've added that person in, go into there and tap it in and add them into favorites. So I'm going to go back, and then that's all you need to know. You don't need to worry about the information at the bottom. It's just information there. But what will happen is, after you've spoken to this person once or twice, there will be a permissions. There will be a permissions tab for information at the bottom, and they will have drop-in, and you just need to slide it across. It will be in this section that you've added the person into. Yeah, and that's a way of that person calling your folks. So if I say, if I put myself in your shoes, Ruth, yeah, so I've got in my hand right now, I've got my mum and dad's mobile phone that's got the Alexa app on there. Yeah, what I've done is I've added my phone number as a favorite onto their device. Yeah, and basically, and I've switched it on to the drop-in function. Yeah, once I've spoken to them, it needs to establish that connection first, and then I can switch the drop-in. When you come back into here, it'll have an extra feature in there, and you slide it across to on. Yeah, and then next time you're on your phone, this should come out. If I go back to home, this symbol there, you can see it says tap or say Alexi. Yeah, now you can tap it and you can say call mum, or you can just say the name Alexi and it will start listening to you, and then you can say call, whoever you want to call. So that's how you tap on there. And then if you click on the communicate tab, basically that person, once they've established it, they will show up here, and it will tell you that you can now drop in on that person, instantly start a conversation. It says it there, but it's sort of cut off. Then you can go into the features at the top here. You've got call, so you can just click on call, and then you can call that. It'll ask you who you want to call, and then you can choose the person to call. Yeah, or you can, if they've already established that connection with them, you can just tap on their name here, and you can make that call. Or you can send them a message at the top there, or you can drop in. This is on, if this is your mobile phone, you can drop in on your folks. Yeah. But if this app is on your folks' mobile phone, then basically what happens is, say they've got an Alexa device that's got a camera on there, then what will happen is they can drop in and it will switch the camera on in their house, and they can see what's going on in the house if they're not at home. Yeah, so that's a way of just like a little bit of security, I suppose, as a feature they've had in there, that they can see their house to make sure everything's okay when they're not there. So they might be with you, and they might just want to check their house. They can drop in their living room or wherever the device is set up, and they've just got to make sure there's a little slider with the new devices for privacy, to make sure it's open. Yeah, like there's a little shutter over the camera, so for privacy. So just make sure that's open. Otherwise, if you've had it closed, then all you're going to see is a blank screen. Yeah, and we don't want that. Yeah, so that's pretty much how to add people in manually. Yeah, and then you can just go through like any close friends or family you want to add in manually, you can do that, and then they haven't got their whole address book coming in. Yeah. Now, if we wanted to add all the contacts from their mobile phone into the Alexa device, then you can simply go to import. You want to import all the contacts, go communicate. Again, you tap on the symbol there, and you've got these three dots, the ellipsis. So if you click on those three dots at the top right hand corner, yeah, I'll just go back there. So top right hand corner, you've got those three dots. Yeah, if you click on those, yeah, now you've got here something called import contacts. So for me, it's enabled, but when you're doing it, it'll probably be disabled. Yeah, and you can tap that, and you've got the slider, and you just slide it across. It'll come up with a message saying, do you want to import all the contacts from your mobile device, onto the Alexa device? And you can, depending on how many contacts you have, it's going to take a bit of time. Or if you've only got a handful, then it'll be pretty quick. Yeah, so just be a bit patient in here. Nothing's wrong. It's not like it's not working. It is working, but it takes time to move all that data across into the Alexa device. Yeah. The other thing is you've got a feature here where it's got contact access. So you can decide on, which who you want to have the drop-in access. So you can say you want all contacts, and when you go into your contacts, under each of them there will be that slider button that, as I mentioned before, that to say drop in, and you can slide it across and that person can have access to it. Or you can say favorite contacts only. So if you say favorite contacts, then it's limited to the people that you've only asterisked with a star as a favorite. Yeah, that's what I was saying before. So if you've got any questions as we're going through there, feel free to put them in a chat box, and I'll answer them as we're going through as I glance over. Yeah. So basically, you don't need to mess around with this too much. If you want to block a contact, I'll just quickly go over it anyway. Add a contact is what we've just done. Add a group. Again, if you've got contacts already added in there, you can pick people out of that to add them into a group. So you just create a name for the group. Yeah. And then you can just say, okay, I want to add this person, I want to add this person, and that's what the add group will do. Block contacts. If someone is calling you and you don't want them to call you, you can block them, and so, or you can just remove them from your mum and dad's phone book, address book on their mobile, and that'll be done. Or you can block them on the phone. And then imports we've talked about, and contact access we've talked about. I'm not going to go too much into depth, otherwise it's going to get a bit confusing. Yeah. So now what we've covered now is how to add contact in manually if you don't want to import all the contacts, or how to import all the contacts automatically. If you do it automatically, what will happen is as and when your mum and dad update their contacts in their address book, it will sync with the Alexa device, yeah, automatically. But if you've done it manually, then obviously you're going to have to add it in manually. Yeah. So okay. I hope that makes sense for now. I'm trying to keep it very simple. I know it sounded a little bit complicated in the beginning, but all we've done right now is we've added people in manually, or we're importing them in, and we just switched on the communication part of on the Alexa app. So that will appear at the bottom in the menu there, like, you know, you've got play, devices, so communicate. So sometimes communicate might not be there and you need to switch it on. So once you've done those 3 things, or 2 things, it's pretty straightforward. Again, I've mentioned you go into the contact and you make them a favorite. So we've covered that. And then once you've established a call with them and it's established that connection, when you go back into the contact, so your mum and dad will have to go back into their Alexa device and find you, and there will be a drop-in feature, like a slider, and they find your name, they tap on your name, it will open up like this. Down here under information or above it, there will be permissions, because your mum and dad have given you permission to drop in, then you'll be able to do it in the future. But first it needs to establish that communication connection. And I think it's before information, it'll say permissions, and then there'll be another feature saying drop in, and then you just slide it across, and then that's it. And then you can use your phone, and you can call them, you can say, I'll give you a list of commands on what to do and how to call them towards the end. And you can either video call them or audio call them, depending on what device they have. So this works better if they've got a device. And I prefer like the Echo Show. I think I mentioned it in a previous live, but I can put the comments, the links to these devices again. But if they've only got the audio one, the small one is just a round circle, that's fine. You can still call them, and you just won't be able to see them. So the drop-in feature is not really needed for just audio. It's only really if you're doing a video call, you want to drop in and you want to see them without them actually having to touch the screen or do anything. You'll just automatically be going straight in. And it can work the other way around as well, but some people, they want their privacy and they don't want their mum and dad like sort of calling randomly, and they might be in the middle of something, who knows. So that's why I think it's best if it works where the siblings can drop in on their parents more than likely. So I think okay, we've covered the drop-in feature, and again I'll just explain what the drop-in feature is a little bit to you. Drop-in is basically where you can click a button and you'll go straight in and connect with your folks. They won't have to touch anything, they won't have to say anything. What will happen is they'll get an audible tone, and so they know that someone's calling. They can come and sit down on the sofa, wherever their Alexa device is, and then the screen will be frosted for maybe about 15 to 30 seconds, so it gets them a chance to get organized and sit in front of, and then it automatically will just become clear. And then you can just start talking. And then when they finish, you can just hang up, and then it'll disconnect from their end. Or they can just say hang up, say the name and hang up, and it will just disconnect the call as well. And so basically that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I want to just make sure I covered everything. So I'm just going to cover some of the commands to say to use your mobile device to call your folks once this is set up. So you've got to make a basic audio call, you go to your mobile. So you go onto your mobile, go into the device. You can tap on home, you can tap on the symbol at the top, and then you can start speaking. And what you can say is, Alexa, call mum, or Alexa, call whoever you've set up as that person. You can like I say, if you've put in a nickname when you actually put them in manually, then basically you can just say that nickname and it will call that person, because it will know who it is. And if they're marked as favorites, then that's even better, because then it knows exactly who it is, because you might have someone with the same name in the address book. And the other thing is, to make a video call, you can just say, Alexa, video call mum, and it will do a video call. And then the other commands or phrases are, Alexa, hang up, Alexa, video off or cancel when you finish the call. And if your folks want to call you, and they don't know your number, they can just say the same thing. They can say, Alexi, call Ruth, yeah, and then it should contact and call them. If they're not sure who they want to call, then they can say, Alexi, show me my contacts, and then depending on how many contacts they've got in there, it will show up on the screen, and they can pick the contact. They can tap it, or they can say call, and when they see the person's name or how they've entered it into the address book, they can say their full name, because some people put their first and last name in, and then that, if you're importing it, it'll import the first and last name, so then you have to say the first and last name. Unless you've added that nickname in, then you can just say call and then the person's nickname. So I hope that sort of makes it clear. The devices are getting more sophisticated, and they're learning your language. So how you speak, yeah, and how you sort of want to start a call and how you want to end a call. At the moment, it's just the basic ways that you can do this is like, say call so-and-so, or hang up, or end, or disconnect, or cancel. Yeah, the more phrases you use, the more it knows that this is what you use to make a call or disconnect from a call. Yeah, and then it will know. It won't sort of like say, I don't understand. But the more you do it, the more it knows that you've said this a few times when you've made a call, so you want to make a call, or you've said this a few times when you want to end the call, and so you know that. Then Alexi knows that this is your tone of voice speaking. Yeah, and it will get sophisticated, I guarantee you. So I hope I didn't see any questions, but if you have got any questions, because it can be a bit confusing, I do encourage you to watch this video again, and as I go through the steps, and go through it on your device. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward once you get the hang of it. If you need any help, extra help on this device, yeah, and you're not sure where to find this, what you do is you can click on. You've got the menu at the bottom where you've got Home, Communicate, Play, Devices. Click on More. Yeah, and then what you do is you go down to Help and Feedback, and click on Help and Feedback. You've got Alexa features. So when you click on that, it'll have a lot of information on how to go about doing things and following step by step. So if you click on calling and messaging, that's probably where you want to look at. There's a lot of information in there, but I've really simplified it down for you in terms of what you need to do. But you can go and read that, and it will give you a little bit more in-depth information on there. But I didn't want to confuse the situation too much at the moment. And like I say, I always like to keep things simple. Simple is always best. So if we go to preferences, so you've got your different preferences. You can click on any of these, and it will tell you how to set things up. When you click on there, it will show you all your devices that you have. So it gives you information on which device, like you'll find your device, and then it'll have a Q&A or FAQs in there that you can go through as well. So that was just a help and feedback section. So Ruth said, how do you set up your privacy settings in Alexa so it doesn't take all your contacts or listen to your other calls, e.g. normal calls or WhatsApp? I think it's part of, so I'm just going to read that again. How do you set up your privacy settings in Alexa so it doesn't take all your contacts? Yeah, so I'll break this down into two sections. So that's what I was saying to you first. Yeah. In terms of your privacy settings, yeah, what it will do is if your folks import all of their contacts from their mobile phone, it's gonna have to share that data with Alexa. But if you don't want that for privacy reasons, then I'd say enter the few close people, family and friends. I forgot to put on mute. Yeah. You add the few people that are closest to you, friends and family, yeah, in there manually, and then that will protect your privacy on that side of things. In terms of listening, I don't think anybody really listens to your call. It's Alexa is listening to your call. She's listening to your call to learn how you speak. And you can, I believe you can switch that feature off after a certain amount of time. It doesn't interfere with WhatsApp at all, so that's a different app totally. So it doesn't import any of that information. So let me just try to find this part of you. So and you click on Alexa privacy settings. and then you've got manage your Alexa data. Oh, whoops, you can't see that, so I'm just going to take that away. Just a second. So you've got Alexa and your privacy. So you could have a read through there, and it will tell you the information you need. But if you click on any like the manage your data, it will tell you on there what to slide on and off. Yeah, so there'll always be things that you need to enable or disable. Yeah. Any other questions for me? Feel free to add them in, and I'll happily sort of answer those for you. Okay, so basically that's basically how to make calls, how to import contacts, how to enable drop-in. We've covered quite a lot here to be actually. How to look at the privacy settings as well. When you import your contacts, it will ask you, it will have a box to say all of this information will have to be shared with the Alexa app. Yeah. So you can choose whether or not to do that. I do think it's a good feature. You can always switch it off, like I say. Okay, so Chandrika's saying, what you're showing, is this on mobile? Yes, yes, Chandrika. So basically what I'm showing you is once you've got the actual hardware, you know, whether it's like the little round dot, or the Echo Spot or the Echo Show, you know, with the videos, Spot and Show have video features and capabilities. The other ones are just audio capabilities, yeah? So it depends on what hardware you have in your house, which Alexa device you have. You have to install the app, either on your tablet or your mobile phone, yeah? Because that's where you'll be able to customize all the features to work with that hardware. So that's the way it works, yeah? So if you don't install the software, the app on the tablet or the mobile phone, it will be a bit difficult to actually work. This is installed on my mobile phone. Yeah, I've also got it on my tablet. You've got all the menus at the bottom. So home, communicate, play, devices, and more. And that's all you really need. When you go into each of them, on the top right hand corner, there will always be something for you to do there. And so like you've got the plus symbol, and that means you want to add a new device into there. But I'm not going to digress too much onto the devices part of it. Yeah, I'm going to stick to the communication side of it, which is here, on how these things work as well. So how was that? Was it easy to understand? Was it difficult, would you say? Or do you need to re-watch the video again to give you an idea? From memory, right, this is what we've done today, like a quick recap, yeah? We've talked about how to add in contacts manually. We've talked about how to import contacts from an address book on your folks' mobile phone, yeah, into the Alexa device. We've talked about how to enable the drop-in feature, yeah, once the communication is established. We've shared some phrases with you on how to start a call and how to end a call. And what else? I'm just going to have a quick look at my notes. We've touched upon some security features. And I think that was it. So yeah, and I've shared with you the help and feedback section on how to find that under the more section to help you with that as well. So Ruth, I hope that helped you. Thank you so much. And feel free to put any other questions in there, but if I don't see any questions, then I'm going to call it a day. But Ruth, thank you so much for sending in that question. And if other people want to know how to send in an audio question to us, so we get it, and then we'll feature it in a Facebook Live. Simply, you need to go to that website, and in the right hand side of the website, there will be a little bar that says, contact us or send your message, and you just click on that, and then you leave us an audio, and then we'll receive that audio. We'll answer it on a Facebook Live and take it from there. So I hope that helps you. No problem, Chandrika. I hope it helped you as well. If you've got any other questions, actually there was one question I have for you. It's a question of the day. Which communication method, whether it's video or audio, will you be using on Alexa? And pop the questions in below. because I'd like to know, you know, do you think video is more preferential, or is it audio, or would you just want to send a text message to them? You can do that from the device as well. It's when you go into it, you know, the menus at the top. You can just tap on message, and you can just tap in your message, and it will send it. You can even send you can do a voice message, and it will send it as a text message. So I think that's a cool feature as well. I hope you enjoyed it and it wasn't too taxing. But like I say, you might have to watch the video a few times and just follow it on your mobile, and then you'll be able to set it up quite easily. If you do have any questions after that, and I'm sure you will, feel free to you know, drop me a message under this particular video. You know, any questions you have, and I'll happily answer them as well. And so that's it from me. I always like to leave you with a special message. I say thank you so much. I'm so grateful that you've come on and, you know, you've listened. I know your time is valuable, it's precious. I understand that, but I also appreciate everyone that comes on, and any way that I can help them, I love to help. And, you know, if you've got questions, I'm happy to help on that side of things as well. As I always say, achieve more by doing less. Don't you think it's about time? All right then, take care.